At one point I thought, that, you know what, the thing I'm missing is I don't have an office. If I have an office, I'll have work, which is absolutely insane. But I couldn't afford an apartment and an office, so I lived.
Right. Well, in that case, that opens up all kinds of possibilities. You are the first, pretty sure, director that I have on the series. I interviewed actors, comedians, musicians, dancers, but you're the first, behind the camera person. And that was one of the first things I thought to myself was like, growing up, we all see the actors. All the kids are like, I'm going to be a rock star, a basketball player, musician, actor, whatever. Not a lot of kids go, I want to do what he does. I want to be the guy behind the camera telling the story. I want to tell everybody where to go and what to do. So I'm curious, how did you discover an interest in directing? How early on? How did that happen?
Yeah, it's interesting. I never ever thought, hey, I want to be an actor.
It's fair enough, different people, but it's just, you don't hear it as much. Because obviously us actors, we talk a lot. Way too fucking much.
I was very attracted to cameras. Like when my parents got their first family camcorder, I was like, they didn't know how to use it. I was like, I know how to do it, everything. I'd take it out with my friends, and I had my own separate mini DV tape. I put my friend and film my friend's stuff. Copying Jackass was like a big thing.
Oh, okay.
That was like, that's how I started.
Any injuries? Any life-changing
Yeah.
events? Okay.
Not for me though, because I was like, why do you do that? Why do you jump off this? And then that's kind of how it started. And then I had a very performative brother as well, who's like 6 years younger than me, who was very much up for doing stuff in front of the camera. And then, funnily enough, that we've worked together a lot, and we did our first television pilot that he co-starred in.
Is that Islanders? Is that
Islanders?
one?
Yeah.
Yeah, I wanted to mention that at the beginning because that's like a very good place to start and then circle around to. But you literally not that long ago had your first pilot air, Islanders. Was it just the pilot or was it everything else? Was it a whole?
It's a pilot, so it's still in the air at this moment, depending on when you're watching this. If it will get another pilot or a full series, things like that, I'm hopeful. I believe in the project, and we'll see.
I need to watch it because I don't have a TV, so technically I don't have a TV license. So I basically need to go find a person and be like, can I sit down and watch something like
Okay, I'm not going to comment. But yeah, I was really into playing with the camera. I was kind of into learning animation when I was young as well, but then I think when I started to delve into it, I felt it was too slow, the whole process, and I wasn't a great artist.
There's a lot, yeah.
Yeah. And then it became a point of studying, going to college to study it.
So I'm curious. So passion for cameras, and then you're like, I'm gonna try to see if I can take this further. Were you thinking I'm gonna be a director? Well, like I'm just gonna fuck around with cameras.
I think I definitely said I want to be a director, which is kind of impractical. Like for directing, you need to build up a lot of other experience, in my belief. So to go from nothing to I'm a director is not great. Not a great way to get started in the film or television industry. You can have to build your way up. But nowadays things have changed where you can just make your own stuff and have a calling card. But for example, I was very like, I'm going to be a director, but I didn't know anything about directing. Whereas another friend of mine from college, he did an application for a training program in London where they would train him to be a camera assistant. So he went down to London to do that training, and then I, from day one, I'm a director. He's worked in every major film like you can think of, and he's not stopped working. And whereas like it's taken me a long time to get to where I am, which
Fair
is
enough.
Yeah.
But then you get to be like, yeah, but I've been a director this whole time. I've got a 10-year career as a director, you know.
Yeah. But yeah, that's. I think for this whole field, you have to have someone says a reasonable amount of unreasonability.
Yes, that is fair because I
have to be slightly unreasonable.
Yeah, no, you have to have this crazy belief that, you know what, I got time, I will make it,
Yeah.
or I've got a really good chance of making it.
Yeah.
And just don't look at the odds. Don't
Yeah.
fuck the odds. Don't think about the odds.
Don't get a trade or get a trade.
No, but see, that's the weird thing with our industry, because obviously in other businesses, you got a clear career path. You know, there's a ladder. You know, I'll become manager, I'll become regional manager, I'll become GM, I'll become whatever, right? In ours, it's not talked about that much, but there's like, I know some of my friends work behind the scenes. So, you know, you start out, I'm not even a runner, you start out like, what is it? You might,
A runner's like
you might be the entry, that might be the entry level, right?
Yeah,
Runner, and then you start going up, like, one day you might become a second assistant director or something. Maybe one day, maybe not.
There's like routes. There's one route where it's always sort of a trade.
Yeah.
Where you're on crew, and then the creative side. I mean, it's all creative, but it's.
But some of them have, like, the skills that you have, you can actually apply outside of the industry as well. Like,
For sure, yeah.
Yeah, if you're like a light technician, whatever. One of my uncle back home works in a theater. He's a light technician. He's like, okay, those are skills that if worst comes to worst, you're like, I can do electricity stuff.
Carpentry, joinery,
Yeah.
it's all a big part as well. My cousins, he started off in live audio, and then slowly, especially during the pandemic, he's transitioned into doing post audio for like film and television. But he could, if he wanted, bounce between,
Right.
because it's all kind of shared experience or skill.
Yeah, no, that's one of my big things is keeping an open mind and being flexible enough that the skills you have here you can actually capitalize on, but you have to be willing. Don't just. I mean, I do the same thing. I'm an actor, but sometimes you're like, yeah, but maybe I could do some weddings and you know be a host and do some comedy there because it pays and it's still in the vicinity of what I love to do. You know,
Yeah.
and I think especially yourself being a director camera person, I'm guessing you've. As you said, you don't get to do directing all the time. Sometimes you have to like navigate around it or do other stuff.
Yeah, when I was trying to get things going, I was like trying to do a bit of everything. I was doing a bit of editing, assisting, but it wasn't. And then between that, I was working in cafes or bars or stuff like that. But I wasn't really. Things weren't really taking off. This was about over 10 years ago now. And then I got invited to. Yeah, I was feeling kind of. At one point, I thought that, you know what, the thing I'm missing is I don't have an office. If I have an office, I'll have work, which is absolutely insane. But I couldn't afford an apartment and an office, so I lived in the office for a few months, and it still didn't take off.
You just said something that just resonated with me because recently my website had to get renewed.
Yeah.
I did it through Wix, and I was like, I was supposed to pay 300 quid for the next 3 years to have this website, and I'm like, or you can pay 100 quid for the next 3 years, only have the domain name, the website's still there, but the only difference is you get an ad that says this website was made through Wix, and I was like, I can probably have that and save 200 quid, you know, I don't need at this stage.
Yeah, people don't care. They want just a place to find your stuff or.
Yeah, but we all fall in love with the glitz and glamour a little bit, and this is why it needs to look professional.
Yeah.